Discover the stories that shaped our world with amazing archives. Do you prefer your meat tender or chewy? Or are you into raw food like lions and tigers? Today, I'm going to tell you about a bizarre case where eating meat led to a deadly outcome. It was April 1942 at Reynolds Mountain Hospital, and it was packed with patients. Among them was a seemingly ordinary patient named Saul, who worked as a dishwasher. Saul's symptoms seemed common at first. He had stomach pain. Everyone knows that stomach pain can be simple but troublesome. It can be caused by hunger, overeating, stress, appendicitis, or even an aneurysm. Is it a minor issue or a life-threatening disease? It all depends on the doctor's diagnosis. Saul had been experiencing stomach pain for 2 days, along with diarrhea, nausea, and headaches. He had no fever, so the doctor prescribed him an antidiarrheal medication and advised him to watch his diet before sending him home. The next day, Saul's condition worsened. He had severe chest pain and could barely stand straight when he arrived at the hospital. The nurse drew blood and found signs of infection, so the doctor decided to admit him for observation. The doctor considered 3 possible diagnoses for Saul's condition: inflammation of the main artery of the heart, cirrhosis of the liver, or gastroenteritis. Saul honestly told the doctor that he often binged on food and drink, so the doctor concluded that it was most likely gastroenteritis and prescribed him more antidiarrheal medication. More antidiarrheal medication again. Unfortunately, there's no magic cure for gastroenteritis, so the doctor instructed Saul to rest and prescribed medication to relieve his symptoms. But to everyone's surprise, Saul's condition worsened rapidly, and he slipped into a coma within just 2 days. This sudden and severe emergency was definitely not caused by gastroenteritis. Although the doctor had no doubts about the accuracy of the previous blood test results, he decided to draw blood from Saul again to find out the truth. The answer was soon revealed: there was a significant increase in eosinophils, a type of white blood cell. The doctor was alarmed and realized the worst-case scenario. Taking a deep breath, the doctor cut a piece of muscle from Saul's leg and examined it under a microscope. The culprit finally showed up: a densely packed mass of Trichinella spiralis. Is it the doctor's fault for misdiagnosing? Of course not. Understanding the life cycle of Trichinella spiralis reveals how tricky they can be. These voracious parasites first invade the muscle fibers of their animal host. When humans eat meat from these infected animals, the Trichinella spiralis larvae are released in the human intestine. These larvae then penetrate the intestinal wall and enter the blood and muscles, where they can reproduce for several years. Trichinella spiralis is tiny, only measuring 0.1 to 0.3 centimeters in length, and it's hard to detect in the early stages of infection. It's often misdiagnosed as other diseases, such as gastroenteritis, arthritis, heart disease, tetanus, cholera, and so on. The symptoms can be all over the place, you wouldn't even imagine. What's strange is that pigs infected with Trichinellosis spiralis often look healthy with no symptoms at all. They have a strong resistance to this parasite. But for humans who get infected with the same disease, it's really miserable. The illness can last for several months, and it's difficult for severely ill patients to fully recover. Plus, there were no effective medications available at that time to treat it. According to the muscle sample from Saul's leg, the doctor estimates that he may have as many as 12 million Trichinella spiralis larvae in his body, and usually having more than 5 million larvae in the body is enough to be fatal for a patient. The doctor quickly seizes the opportunity to talk to Saul and learn more details. Although Saul is conscious, his speech is not very fluent anymore, and the doctor often cannot hear clearly what he is saying, only hearing Saul repeatedly mentioning pork feast and labor church. Pork feast. Does that mean there are other victims too? You may have already guessed that Saul's companions who ate pork with him are probably not doing well either. In any case, the doctor must race against time and quickly go to the labor church to see what's going on. It turns out that Saul is a homeless person. The church sometimes provides opportunities for odd jobs to homeless people, and Saul got a job washing dishes this way. The doctor asked the priest what the pork feast was, and the priest said that the church regularly holds events sponsored by non-profit organizations, where church members and staff can eat, drink, sing, and dance together. The priest told the doctor the dates of the pork feast party. And when the doctor heard that it was at the end of March, he immediately realized that Saul fell ill in early April, which coincides with the incubation period of Trichinella spiralis. The doctor then asked the priest if other people who ate pork were okay, but the priest didn't know. Fortunately, he had a good memory and remembered all the people who attended the party. The doctor visited them one by one. A total of 27 people ate the pork feast, but only 2 of them contracted trichinelosis. The doctor felt very frustrated, as this didn't make sense. What made him even more sad was that Saul's condition was too severe and he unfortunately passed away. These 2 patients were very weak, lying in bed unable to move, suffering from headaches all over their bodies. The doctor felt great sympathy for them, but still asked them to explain all the details they knew as clearly as possible. Clues emerged one by one during the conversation. Both patients were chefs, and they ground the pork into sausages to make it more convenient for the pork feast. Here's the key. The sausages had to be seasoned, and these 2 chefs naturally tasted the finished product. The doctor immediately told them, "That's it. The raw pork you tasted had Trichinella spiralis larvae in it." The 2 poor chefs were shocked. They couldn't believe that just tasting a few bites of raw pork could cause such great suffering. So what's the deal with Saul? One of the chefs said he would just take the sausages he made and put them in the fridge at home. Saul helped fill the sausages, so he probably opened the fridge later and had a few bites. Everyone knows Saul loved pork the most. The doctor was trying to figure out why Saul's condition was so severe, when another chef spoke up. Saul loved to eat raw pork. Every time we made pork patties, he would say he didn't need to cook his, the rarer the better. He could eat several pieces of raw pork patties in one go. The only right answer finally emerged. Someone who ate so much raw pork infected with trichinelosis. It looked like a suicidal act no matter how you looked at it. The doctor silently thought, "Rest in peace, Saul." With advances in pig farming methods, the number of trichinelosis cases has finally decreased, but this dreadful disease still exists because there are always people in the world who love to eat raw pork. Even if you don't get trichinelosis, you can still be infected with roundworms or pork tapeworms. Just think about having a bunch of unwelcome guests living in your intestines. How uncomfortable. If you want to stay alive, eat delicious cooked pork. If you want to catch more kick-ass stories, don't forget to hit that subscribe button with the little bell icon. That way, you won't miss out on any of the good stuff. See you soon.